Hi, welcome along to AFTV. We've been rounding up all of the transfers all day long here, me and Turkish. We've been giving you updates as they've been happening. And now I've been joined by our esteemed panel, right, where we're going to discuss our transfer business. We're also going to be, of course, keeping up to date with anything that happens. They still haven't, come out with the official pictures, etc., for our brand new signing. Can you pronounce his name?
Tom.
Is that what you're going to call him?
Tommy.
Some people are nicknaming him TT.
Can't do that, Rob. Can't do that.
Was he a car?
Can't do that.
Japanese Ferrari.
TT's the legend, man. TT's the legend.
The Takahiro Takim.
Go on.
Bloody hell. Oh, listen, I apologise. I apologise.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it because I butcher names.
Takahiro Tomiyasu.
Tomiyasu.
Takahiro Tomiyasu. 22 years of age.
22, is that all?
Yep.
Quite young,
Fits
isn't
the profile again.
Yeah.
Signed from Bologna, defender, for around about £18 million, 17, 18 million pounds, they're saying. And he's
Can he head a ball?
what you call a, well, we'll find out what we, but what we sort of call nowadays a hybrid defender, in which he can play centre back and he can play right back. And
so he can't head the ball then.
But joining me, I've got Lee Judges, of course. Cecil's in the building as well, and Dan Potts here to discuss our transfer business so far. Also want to hear from you guys. We've been hearing from you guys all day long. Let me just bring everybody up to date with what's been going on. As I said, Takahiro Tomiyasu signed for around about 70 million plus add-ons, going to take up to around about 18, 19 million pounds. Of course, we signed Ben White earlier on in the transfer window, 50 million. Albert Sambi Lokonga, 17 million. Nuno Tavares, 8.5 million. Martin Odegaard for 30 million. And Aaron Ramsdale for 24 million. Brings our spending up to nearly 150 million pounds. We have spent the most money, Arsenal, in this transfer window. The most. Nobody can moan about spending. We spent a lot of money in it. And I want to find out how you guys feel about it. There's obviously some players that might be leaving. Hector Bellerin is leaving the club. He's been over in Betis. He's done his medical. The medical's passed, and we're just waiting for him to be announced. But Hector Bellerin has left on a season-long loan. No option to buy, so he'll be returning back after the end of that. And also, Reece Nelson has left on a season-long loan to Feyenoord. Also signed a new contract and will be returning back after that loan as well. No option to buy in that as well. So Lee, what have you made of it so far?
Well, I think it's been good signings for for the future and whatever. But ultimately, for now, for here in the present, I'm not going to lie. I'm disappointed. Our priority was midfield and right back, which we've gone and done today. Whether that's our first choice or not, I don't know. But we spent £50 million on Ben White. When I'm looking at our central defenders and I'm thinking we've let Saliba go, I don't understand that. I don't understand it. And for me, our midfield needed an upgrade, and I mean an upgrade. And
who would you have liked to have seen that?
I would have liked to have seen Basuma or Awar. Can I just say something about Arsenal's transfers? Right, and this is what worries me about them. It's like a scattergun, or a fishnet. We chuck it out there and see what we bring in. You go all last season prepared to pay £50 million for Awar, right? The whole summer, wasted all of our transfer window. This season, we've not even gone in for him. You know, I look at what Man United with Sancho last season. They tried everything to go and get him, couldn't get him. Where is he now? Man United, because there's a plan. They've sourced out the players that they want, and if we can't get them, we'll wait for them. With Arsenal, it seems to me like, we'll just throw the net out there. Who can we get? And don't tell me that, Odegaard was. We've got Odegaard now. We're not going to go for a while. We was looking at getting Maddison in for 70 odd million. We could have got two players in. We desperately need a box-to-box midfield player. And I'm not saying that's going to be a while, whoever it be.
Thomas Partey.
Well, Thomas Partey, like, you know, he gets to the box, and when he comes back to the next box, he's injured. You know what I mean? So he's no good. You know what I mean? As a box to box. You know what I mean? Like, so I look at that and I think to myself, I do like the look of him. Then, so all right, then we want a holding midfield player. If you're going to go with the box to box with Partey, then you get in a proper defensive midfield player in there. And I look at it. And if you have a look at the game against Chelsea with Lukaku, what does a holding midfielder? He blocks the path for that ball going into his feet. We didn't have no one doing that. That was Lokonga and Xhaka. So for me, I don't think we've addressed those issues. Basuma was available. What Arsenal should have done, they should have bit the bullet or bite the bullet, let Xhaka go for whatever, and get in the proper player that we needed. And we've not done it. And you know, after watching this transfer window, I now realise that the manager and the recruitment are not good enough. And not only does our midfield need an upgrade, they all need an upgrade.
Okay, I'm going to come to you in a sec. Ramin says Bellerin, Walcott, Iwobi, Welbeck, wasted potential equals sad, he says. And big up Abdul as well with a super chat. Sorry, you was going to say something.
I was going to say, were we ever linked officially to Basuma, Rob? I know you did Transfer Daily, but was it more the fans wanting him that much?
When you say linked officially,
like,
we were linked.
Do we make it?
We've never made a bid for him, no. We've never bid for Basuma.
Yeah.
We went and bought Albert Sambi Lokonga. It looks like now that Sambi Lokonga is who they opted to get.
Instead of Basuma.
And don't get me wrong, I've liked the look of him and he could turn into be as good a player as a Basuma. But he's a young player.
Had a fantastic game at City, didn't he?
Exactly, we didn't even play him against Man City. But it looks to me like they opted for Albert Sambi Lokonga. And also, they've obviously recognised that, right, yeah, maybe he's not experienced enough. That's why they've kept Xhaka. You know, what I would have liked to have seen them do was get Sambi Lokonga and Basuma.
Right.
And let Xhaka go. But they've thrown it in. They've thrown it in with Granit Xhaka, and this is the thing, you know what I mean? I think that's a massive error, but we never actually went in for Basuma.
Right.
Never in this window.
Right.
Linked with him, even today linked with him.
Yeah.
But we've never bid for Basuma.
Yeah.
And he sort of threw it out, didn't he, that he wanted to be at.
Yeah, he wanted to come.
There was like signs on social media as well. He had the Arsenal top at the end of his bed and stuff, and everyone's getting excited. I expected to see him come in. Like Robbie said, he should have come in with Lokonga. I thought Lokonga was a backup potentially for Basuma, but clearly now he's going to be our main choice. And keeping Xhaka, I mean,
that's the area of the weakness for me. The midfield is weak. We've got two of the players that are going to the African Cup of Nations, remember? So that leaves us with Xhaka and Lokonga left. That's it. That's all we've got. And Granit Xhaka's good at getting sent off, as we've seen this weekend. So that means we've just got Lokonga. We've got rid of Miguel Aziz on loan, which is a good move for the lad. But we need to actually strengthen that position. I'm amazed that we've not gone it. We haven't actually got a holding midfielder at the club, you know that. We've got a box-to-box player in Partey. We've got Granit Xhaka, who is a poor man's midfielder as far as I'm concerned. Lokonga isn't a holding midfielder.
Well, no, hold on. Lokonga said, when he was at Anderlecht, that everybody says he's a holding midfielder, but he's saying he can do box-to-box as well. But he's a holding midfielder.
But I don't think he's shown that in the first couple of games. I think he's looked a lot more box-to-box for me.
I agree with that.
And Basuma was the one that we all wanted and needed, I felt. And that would allow Partey and Lokonga as backup to do the box-to-box stuff. I just think we've left ourselves extremely short in that position. And that's the disappointing one for me. We haven't been excited by these windows. We spent a lot of money and we've covered a lot of positions that I felt we needed. But I'll be excited by these signings coming in. I think they've covered some gaps, but they haven't really taken us to the next level.
But
who should we have bought to have made... I'm going to ask all three of you. Who should we have bought? Because I think we're all unanimous that these signings were needed. You know what I mean? We needed a backup goalkeeper, we bought Aaron Ramsdale. We needed an attacking midfielder, we bought Odegaard. We needed a backup left back, we bought Nuno Tavares. Sambi Lokonga, whether you think defensive midfielder or not, but defensive midfielder, and we bought Ben White, and today we bought Takiro Tomiyasu.
Well done.
Thank you. Right. They're all sensible signings. They all, when you look at them, they all seem to make sense. But what would have got you, if you could have had those signings and then another signing that made you excited? Because me and Turkish were talking about this earlier. Who was that signing going to be? Who would have made you excited on top of this?
I honestly believe a Calvert-Lewin sort of signing up front. I think that our forwards we needed, and I'm not saying upgrade, we just needed to turn it around a little bit. They're all too similar. I needed someone like the big centre. I look at Chelsea, I know Lukaku, they've got Lukaku. It's just changed the dynamics for them. Like they look the proper, they look the real deal. I look at other teams with big centre forwards. You know, I think Manchester United have been struggling in that area. They've gone and got Ronaldo. I'm not saying that he's that sort of player, but they've gone and got that. Like, you know, Manchester City tried to get Harry Kane. Tottenham are where they will always do well because they've got that pinnacle player up front in Harry Kane. I think we need someone that's going to get goals with the head, as plus as bring other players into play. I don't see us doing that. And I think that until we sort that out, that would be an exciting signing. But also, you know, like I know we weren't with him, but someone like a Jack Grealish would have excited the fans. I go back to the doldrums.
How are you going to get Grealish though? You've got no chance.
Well, listen, we're talking about football. Listen.
So these are the things that. Listen, all of those things. I like your dream, right? But at the moment, this moment in time, we've got no Champions League football. So were we being unrealistic, right?
I think we were.
No. Because I'll tell you why. Because you go back in history, '83 we was in the doldrums. Like, you know, we signed Charlie Nicholas. Everybody wanted Charlie Nicholas, but we went and got him, paid big money for it. Back in no, hold on a minute. Let me fit. Went into even in the '70s. Malcolm McDonald was the biggest signing ever. You know, like highest record signing. We went Arsenal were involved in that. I go back to the last time we wasn't in Europe. We signed Dennis Bergkamp. Now, as great as he was, sometimes you have to be a little bit look around and try and get somebody in there that maybe is not quite like we did with Sanchez. Sanchez wasn't the big deal at Barcelona, but he excited us fans. We haven't looked in there and done that. I'm not saying it's going to be one of these top players, but we could have gone to, you know, for instance, Leicester and got Madison. That would have been an exciting signing. Yeah, like, you know, Basuma would have been an exciting signing for us because it was something that we needed. You know, Ben White. I look at Ben White and I think, right, 50 million's great, it's a good signing, but is he any better than Saliba? I don't know. Saliba's turning up performance after performance in France, and he looks like he can head a ball.
What would excite you?
Rob, I don't even want to talk about who would excite me. I'm going to be realistic, and I don't know if I'm going to get a lot of love for this opinion, but I actually think the window hasn't been too bad, in my opinion, in the sense that we've got the positions we need to cover. There's no one that would really, if I was a player, right? No, but listen, if I was a player, listen, what are you looking at?
I was just saying, what you're drinking.
Listen, Lee, listen, if I was a player, let's be real now, would I want to come and sign for Arsenal? No, we're sitting bottom of the league. You want to go to a club with a manager who's inexperienced. He's not going to better your career. There's a lot of players that we're linked to, and it's a dream signings like the Madisons, the Grealishes. They probably don't want to come. I know Madison said he did, but Grealish was never going to come. A dream player signing for me would have been, again, we should have strengthened that midfield, Basuma, and that's just being realistic. This is not like, because if we were talking about dream signings, Mbappe just turned down, or not Mbappe himself, PSG turned down 189 million for Mbappe. I'd love a player like that, but it's not going to happen. We're Arsenal Football Club. We've got to realise where we're at right now. We're sitting bottom of the league with an inexperienced manager. For a player
I mean, we can't get an exciting signing.
I don't think we.
We spent 150 million.
Yeah,
150.
But we lost
million.
out on players, Robbie, that were first targets. Buendia, lost out on him. We lost out on other. There was main targets that we missed out on because players didn't end up wanting to come. No matter how much money we had.
What was it, Buendia? I don't think he didn't want to come. I think we just want to pay that extra money to get him.
So where we spent 150
Which is a
million,
bit weird
so
now.
that doesn't make sense,
we spent 150
and
million.
we was going to spend super million, load of million on Aaron Ramsdale. We spent 24 million on Aaron Ramsdale. For me, that's really too high as is, especially if you're missing out on Buendia for that sort of price. I mean, yeah, I just think this window, we got the positions we needed to cover, and we're asking a lot. I think fans are asking way too much for the position that we're currently sat in as Arsenal Football Club.
Right, so, let me ask Dan. As I said, Takiro Tomiyasu, Ben White, Sambi Lokonga, Nuno Tavares, Odegaard, Ramsdale. Bellerin's leaving as well. Reece Nelson's gone out on loan. Willian's gone. Good window or not?
It's been an okay window for me because I can't say it's been a poor one.
150 million spent. When was the last time we spent that sort of money?
But we spent a lot of money, Rob. Look at what we spent it on in the past.
No, in one window. Tell me, have we ever spent 150 million pounds?
That's why we've got to be happy with what we spent. But look at what we've spent it on. Have we improved the first 11? I don't think so. I think Ben White is probably as good as David Luiz, because David Luiz, as much as he was a liability at times, was a good defender and was very experienced. Ben White's got a lot to learn. We've already seen in the game against Brentford that he got bullied.
One game.
So he's got a lot to learn there, hasn't he? So he's got a lot to try and bulk up a bit and understand his positioning. Then you've got the Lokonga signing, which is basically a replacement for Torreira or Guendouzi. Then you've got the Tavares, which is an upgrade for me on Kolasinac, but he's not going to play or improve the first team, I don't believe. The right back, I think, will improve us, because you couldn't get any worse than 5 that we've got that are shambolic, let's be honest, all of them. I think I'm more disappointed with the midfield, because Basuma would have excited me, and Calvert-Lewin, I'm with Lee, would have excited me, because Lacazette's now going to go on a free transfer, right, at the end of the season. That is terrible business.
Typical Arsenal.
So get rid of him and Eddie somehow, yeah, this window. It doesn't matter even if you take a few million and try and do something in that position, and I don't think that we've done that. Now, Aubameyang is obviously, we don't know what we're going to get with Aubameyang at the moment, do we? We don't know if he's going to be the old Aubameyang or the current Aubameyang, so that's got a question mark. And the goals are dried up. So I think although we've done well with some of the signings, we've replaced Ødegaard with Ødegaard, because we already had him. We've replaced Granit Xhaka with Granit Xhaka.
Are you happy with the Ødegaard signing?
Yeah, I am happy with Ødegaard, because I think he improves on what we've got. But I think that we could have got somebody better. Somebody proven. Maddison would have been the one I would have liked to have gone for. But again, it's a lot of money, and I don't know what we have and haven't got in the bank. But 150 million is a lot of money to spend. 80 million pounds on a backup goalkeeper and Ben White. Yeah. That's a lot of money. Could we have spent that wiser? I think we probably could have.
All right. So it's not the money spent. You think it should have just been a bit wiser with
I think buying smarter would have been better for me. A lot of money spent. That's great. We all want to spend money, but actually, is it about spending money because you got to get the right players in, Rob? Because listen, I think one of our best signings this window has been Lokonga, and he wasn't the most expensive signing. So it just needs to be the right signings for me. I think we've spent a lot of money, and we have in the past. Look at what we spent it on, and again, I'm thinking, are we learning here? Are we going for players that are going to improve us from 8th on last season? Or are we looking at this team being exactly the same? Because we've got the same front three, we've got the same number 10, we've got the same midfield from Xhaka and Partey, which we believe it's going to be, and we've got the same back 4 apart from Ben White. So this right back, I don't know if, I guess he's going to start. I mean, you'd like to think he would for that much money. So that could improve us there. But really, those 2 positions, I'm looking at the only 2 positions at the moment. Ben White and Tomiyasu.
Let me run for loads of super chats.
Yeah, go for it.
Let me run for a few of these. Same Jay says, Awar won't come. He's a second choice after Ødegaard. We need Basuma. Defence looks okay now that we got Tommy and Tierney flanking White and Gabriel.
Tommy and Tierney, that sounds good, doesn't it?
Or a back 5 of Tierney, Gabriel, White, flanked by Tavares and Tommy. Purak says, no point in getting all these young players if you've got to have a novice manager who plays them in the wrong places or has no clue what he's doing. You can sign Messi and he'd probably play him as a right back. He goes...
Probably put him sub.
Put him on the bench, yeah, so I was going to say, yeah, he would.
That's a great point. That's a great
It's
point.
a manager.
It is.
Paul N says if Ainsley Maitland-Niles stays and plays in midfield, he will play box-to-box or holding midfielder.
He doesn't want to play in midfield.
He's not really played as a holding midfielder.
Yeah,
it's not an option no more.
The right back position.
Joe Wright says Wolves doing a madness. Sanchez and now in for Kamara from Marseille. Both Arsenal linked, and both we expressed the interest in heads in hands emoji. Now, I don't think they're getting Sanchez. I heard
that's not happening now.
Falling through. Abdul says Arsenal spent £150 million on players that none of them make our fan base excited. Chelsea signed Lukaku and Saul, and the whole league is excited. Listen,
we're not in that position to do that, and that's not going to fix our problems. If we got one big signing, that wouldn't cover up all the mess that Arsenal are currently in. This one big signing thing, I'm not with it. I'm not on that bandwagon.
If we'd have signed Calvert-Lewin, and that would have been like, that would have done 78
million. 75 million.
Yeah. And then after that,
backup goalkeeper, no
like
right
2
back.
other signings. You be in there jumping in saying, we ain't got, that's all right signing in, but what about it? That's
what would you prefer though, Lee? 75 million on Calvert-Lewin or 80 on White and Ramsdale?
For me, if someone comes to me, this is how I would have looked at it, right? And this is nothing against Ben White and nothing against Ramsdale, by the way, right? Because I think that they're okay and whatever. If someone said to me, we're going to sign Calvert-Lewin, but what we'll have to do is we'll have to have Saliba coming in, you know,
and we'll have
to get I
Keep
think
Matt Ryan, yeah, it's true.
Matt
that's true.
Ryan didn't want to be a second. I think he was too good to be a.
No,
Maybe.
Matt Ryan said he wanted to stay, but he was told that Arsenal want an English keeper.
Is that the case? Right. Well,
Yeah.
I would have said, right, I would have kept Matt Ryan. I would have kept in Saliba, and then we'd have got that centre forward.
Give
I
Maddison or
guarantee
Cavalier.
you
Yeah, that's
that
exactly
would have
what I'd
made
have
us a lot better than what we are at this moment in time. That's nothing against the two guys that we've got, but I would have rather gone down that route, like, and then maybe bought another midfield player in as well. I just think, Dan made a good point there. We've spent money, but I don't think we spent it wisely. And that's what worries me about this team now, this regime, because I look at it and I think, like, I'm no expert, but I know that would make Arsenal better. Now, people will turn around and say, well, we might not have been able to get Calvert-Lewin, but you go out there and you make it happen. We've made it happen with Ben White. We had to pay over the odds for Ben White, so we might have to have gone a little bit up. But 70, 80 million for Calvert-Lewin would have been the same sort of remit that we're looking at. And when you're thinking Lukaku's going for 90 and Harry Kane was thinking about 120, that was about right for him.
Okay. Wayne Sage says, if there was ever any media chat linking Basuma or Awar to Arsenal, not one Arsenal would care if we signed them or not. It's about the hype. Roosters 117 says, thank you guys for the content today. Dedication is unbelievable. You guys must be thankful you don't have hair, right? And that you don't have hair, so you don't have to pull it out with all the stress this club brings you.
Me and Dan
Mine's going, man.
It's
So.
going. It'll be gone. Yours will be gone soon as well. Right, Jadwell says, your thoughts on Arsenal's new signing, and I don't know what he's written there.
I don't know.
Albert says Perlo in London. I don't know what's going on there. That boy random says Xhaka plus 25 million would have got Basuma. Bellerin plus 20 million would have got Royale. Awar plus Sanchez loan. Anana 8 million and a goalkeeper on loan. Saliba back, no White. Tavares as backup. Martinez 70 million. Said all that equals 144 million. De Herk says if new players turn out to be good, then this is a great window. It feels disappointing because we're bottom of the league. I made that point earlier to Turkish. I said, had we have been sitting third in the league right now, made all the signings we had, would we all be feeling this way?
It's a good point. It is a good point because I think we are in trouble in the league. But I go back to this, Rob, and I've said this for a while. I don't think it matters who we sign. This manager has proved to me in 20 months that he doesn't have a style of play and he cannot progress players. I don't think it matters. So
Dan, I'm with you.
I think we're in trouble.
I think it's the manager, but I also think it's the players around these new signings. Name me an experienced player that's been class.
Yeah, that's a great point.
This season towards the end of last season.
I don't think the players are
The
buying into
experienced players.
the experienced players. But listen, Aubameyang
Bless me.
has had a falling out of him. Let's be honest, he has.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean?
I believe that as
Xhaka now, Pepe. I look at it with Arteta now. Nothing against him as a person or whatever. It's nothing personal. It's just you've had Pepe now for 20 months, and he's not improved one bit. When you buy him for 70 million. You actually bought him for a lot of potential so that he could reach the top. He's been here 2 seasons, his first season. Yeah. He's not progressed.
He's not the only one though, Lee.
No, I'm not having a go at Pepe. So realistically, Arsene Wenger brought in players and he made them like, I can go back to
100%.
Lundberg, Vieira, Anelka, and he made them world superstars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In less than 20 months. I don't see any progression of that. I then see the experienced players like Lacazette and Aubameyang dropping down in form. I don't see no improvements from Xhaka from that guy.
How many players has he progressed? That's what I can't name.
I'll tell you what,
people say the youngsters, but then you can't. Can you? Is it really down to Arteta?
I think they're showing raw talent.
Yeah,
Cecil.
I'm with Dan, bro.
I think they're showing raw talent, and I think that you can't say that Saka, Smith Rowe and Tierney have been this good because of Mikel Arteta. Yeah. I think it was there. They've allowed them to be shown. Christ, he had to be forced to play Smith Rowe.
Do you know what I mean?
Before we even saw him.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing about these ones, and which is a big worry for me, is when you're a youngster and you come on the scene, no one knows about you. So that's why there's always that blast. Do you know what I mean? Now they know about Saka. They know, but they're studying. They're watching Smith Rowe and all that. They get sussed out for 6 months to a year, and they have to educate themselves, redo them sort of things. So there could be a lull for those players now. Everybody's going, oh, they're going to go, but there could be a lull before there's another high.
You know, Smith Rowe and Saka, people are saying, are 2 of our best players. You know, they scored 7 goals combined last season. Yeah. 7.
The stats are not.
That's worrying when there are 2 better players. Great. So, you know, we need to look at that, and I think that can be improved upon with a different manager. I really do. I think they need to be progressed personally.
All right, we'll run through some more super chats here. Paul Sorin says we've never replaced Santi Cazorla or Awar. And he said Awar would fit the bill. We need a solid 2-footed midfielder who can get the passes from our defenders. That boy Random says Saliba not good enough. If we sent Holding, Murray, White, Chambers, or any of our other defence, would they get into the French? I think he means team of the week. I think it's a shambles. If there were no more signings, says Zayn, and Arteta stays, where do you think Arsenal will finish in the Premier League? We'll come back to that one. Abraham says this team, as it is, can be good enough for 5th or 6th if we get a great manager who can use their potential. Jude says if you sack Arteta, you will have loads of players that are deadwood in the club that a new manager might not want. You're at a loss. Thomas says it's weird there ain't more quality managers out there since YouTube have millions. I get that. I like that.
Yeah, that's good.
So in other words, you say we think we're all managers.
No, what we are, we've got opinions.
Yeah, it's just opinions.
As you say, no matter who you sign, Arteta is finished. Duplex says we've not seen the first 11 yet. Be patient and judge him when they return.
Facts,
however, I feel our Tuchel moment is coming in the next steps. Do you know what? I was talking about this the other day, and you guys are just touching on it. And I spoke about this morning, I think, with Turkish. Chelsea, Thomas Tuchel comes in. Before he came in, these are some of the players that all the Chelsea fans, I know quite a few of them, were moaning about. Thinking they should go. Marcos Alonso.
Yeah.
Now the guy's playing brilliantly every week.
Of course, that's all sorts of problems.
Yeah.
Christensen.
Facts.
Yeah.
They didn't really rate him. He's all right, Christensen. Rudiger.
Oh, he's been quality.
The fans were like, get him out of the club. He was arguing with Frank Lampard, falling out with him. Jorginho, who just got the award, you know, when they was doing the draw the other day for the Champions League as Player of the Season. These were players that were not performing, underperforming badly under the manager. And then Tuchel's come in and he's not just turned them underperforming, he's turned a guy into a Player of the Season. Even Reece James wasn't really always playing. So I think when I look at Arsenal's team, I look at it and I think there are some good players in that team that are seriously underperforming. Aubameyang, as we know, Lacazette, that's another. Pepe, right? You know, I look in, you know, with the young players that we've got, some of the players that we bought in. I mean, listen, there's certain players in that team I look at and I think, I'm not sure. Whoever's managing.
Who are they then?
Well, I think Callum Chambers is Callum Chambers. I think he's an average player, right? So I think even if you've got a top manager come in, he's going to be maybe a bit better, but he's not the answer. I think Rob Holding is not the answer. I think I look at those 2 players and I'm like, they've never made an England squad and they play for Arsenal. That shows me where they're at. They give everything. Mohamed El Neni will give everything for the team, but he's not the answer. But I do think, I look and then that team and there's some good, Thomas Partey, I know he's been injured a lot, but that's a quality player we've got there.
I'm with you, Rob.
Right?
Do you think we get Xhaka to turn around?
Kieran Tierney. Ben, Granit Xhaka, when he plays for Switzerland, when he plays for Switzerland, he's all right. I mean, listen, for me, again, that's another era. My personal thing is, we had the opportunity this summer to move Granit Xhaka on, and it wouldn't even have been a controversial move because he'd had a great Euros. Roma wanted him, and I think we should have accepted that offer. And we let him. You know, you come to a stage sometimes when you got to say,
bite the bullet.
Yeah, mate. And it weren't like It weren't like they were even having to shove him out. There was a team that wanted him.
Yeah.
So you come to that stage now and you say, well, you know what? Yeah, I think it's time to move on. A little bit like what's happening today with Hector Bellerin. I think that's a good move for Arsenal because I feel that Hector Bellerin has been there for a very long time. He's stagnating.
Yeah, that's a great word.
He needs a new challenge.
Yeah.
And we need a new player in that position. And it's best for both parties that he moves on. He can maybe go on, do really well at Betis, and then next season get a move to a bigger club, probably in Spain, which is what he probably wants. Yeah. And we can now, we've got the opportunity now to bring in somebody else in that position who can do well. But the big mistake for me when I look at the window, the big one for me is that Xhaka one. I'm like, we should have moved him out and got Basuma in. I think that would have given a lot of people a lot of hope that we're going to defend better. And then the other one is, I still look at, I said it at the time, there's people having a go at me afterwards, said, oh, Robbie, you're not giving him much. I'm like you, Lee, I've got nothing against the signing of Ben White. But I'm just looking on it, I'm saying 50 million quid, I would have rather have got Basuma, even if we'd have got Basuma first.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, we've seen in those first couple games, we need a centre-backs, right? Because we can't defend. So, it's a weird window. I don't know who that additional player is. I would have got in that I would have said I'm excited. I don't know if I'd have been excited bringing in Calvert-Lewin. Again, I think I might have said.
Would you be excited by Basuma?
I think Basuma.
Yeah, I would have.
Basuma would excite me in a different way because it's not. I'm not getting excited because I'm saying right, you're going to bang in. I'm just excited. I'm thinking
the team.
It's an upgrade. An upgrade.
There's somebody in there that's going to solidify. We've needed someone in that position for the last 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Ever since Patrick Vieira. And those sort of players left. We ain't had an holding midfielder.
Is no one excited by the outgoings that have gone? Those like we got, like you said, Bellerin, Willian's gone now. Like for me, that was the priority. This window was priority. Last window.
But you know what it is as well. There's certain players that are still there though. Kolasinac, and he's playing.
I forgot.
When I saw it the weekend, when I saw him on the team sheet, I was like, what?
Yeah, but
I think it was his birthday as well as yours.
He had a better birthday than me, I think. But you had you still got Eddie there, right? So what's ever going to happen there? Nothing against
Eddie again, that situation. Eddie and Ketia. We're hearing today.
He's turned down a move for money.
Yeah, we're hearing today that he didn't want to go. That they agreed terms with Crystal Palace.
Because at the end of the season, Robbie, he's going to go for nothing. He's going to get more money. So
same as Lacazette.
You might as well hang on. Look, that's a perfect example. Lacazette. Realistically, put him up now for 20 million. There ain't no takers. Right, I'll be honest. There's not going to be many takers, is it? Put him up for nothing, and there'll be lots of takers. And he's going to have a lot of options next season. So why go and sign? So he's going to hold out on it.
But why have we left that?
Because we've never learned from our mistakes.
Why has that? What I'd say with that Eddie one is why has that come down to the window? I'm sure if we would have moved on that one early enough and said to Eddie, you're not part of our plans. Because I don't think we really did that. Eddie, you're not part of our plans, look for a club.
But we were told, weren't we, this will not be happening. We will never have people in the last year of their contracts again because it's happened too many times. And we've just given, we've got Kolasinac, Chambers, I believe, El Neni, I think, and obviously Lacazette and Eddie and Ketia. I mean, don't quote me on that, but I think they're all in their last year of their project. Is that right?
They are.
So why is it happening?
But with Eddie, the perfect thing to do, he had a few games last season, didn't he, like before Christmas or whatever. He scored a couple of goals. That was the time to strike when the iron's hot.
I agree.
Sell him then. You know what I mean? Like, get the money in for it, the biggest blunder, and what I can, and this is what, this is what we're dealing with our transfer people, They go into a meeting, right? Just like we're sitting around the table now, right? Mikel's sitting here, right? Maitland-Niles, we've got a £20 million offer from Wolves. Are you going to play him this year, Mikel? Not really. All right, we're keeping then. We're keeping. I tell you what, we're keeping. We won't take the 20 million. And I'll tell you what we'll do.
We'll loan him to West Brom.
We'll loan him to West Brom for nothing. That'd be a great deal, wouldn't it? Like, you know what I mean? Now, this season, look what's happened. It's a shambles.
He's training with the kids right now.
It's a shambles.
It's a joke.
It's a shambles. In that meeting,
they've said to him today after the whole debacle yesterday
Social media.
with his message on Instagram. They're saying to him today now that he is part of their plans and they're keeping him.
Oh, is that?
It's
what
like
they said?
there's
I
no
didn't see that.
transparency.
Yeah,
is
Wasn't
there?
he training with the kid? He
was this morning.
So,
He had a meeting with Mikel
But
Arteta
let's
this
be honest.
afternoon.
Let's be honest about him. If you're Maitland-Niles, do you know what? I ain't got no problem with him going on social media and having a go, because I tell you what, like, I'm looking at him and I vent and I see his frustrations from a fan's point of view. I've seen him play really well at wing back, at wide left, right, yeah, and then be dumped really, like, you know what I mean, for whatever.
He's in the
like.
England squad
Right,
as well.
He's in the England squad.
Remember the
Playing as
frustration?
Western,
The
right.
frustration of that you made the England squad.
He's sitting.
I wasn't playing.
He's sitting there. He's watching
Awesome.
Callum Chambers play at right back. He's watching Bellerin play there.
Cedric.
He's watching Cecil. So, I mean, Cedric play there. You know what I mean? Like, right back, like, you know what I mean? Right? Yeah. At the end of it, like, yeah. And then he's seeing all of that. He's seeing those players there, week in, week out, getting chopped and changed, and he's still sitting on a bench. I would have thrown my toys out a long time before he did, like, you know what I mean? And had enough. You could have sold him to to Wolves last year. You didn't.
20 million as well.
The 20 million.
And let's not forget, Lee, the reason he got called up to the England squad wasn't because he was playing midfield or number 10. He was playing as full-back.
Yeah.
And Gareth Southgate noticed that, and he got us to the FA Cup win and playing left wing-back. He played at right-back. Do you know he actually played at right-back against Everton? We lost the game. He got man of the match, and he got dumped out the side. And then he came in against Palace last season on the left, and rusty as hell because he'd been out for 4 weeks. And then he went, right, get rid of him.
I think personally, he's our best right back. Me and Cecil have
I've always thought he was.
many a times. So to me, he's quick. He's good at intercepting the ball. He's strong. Does switch off sometimes, but I think he's the better of the lot.
And if you're a good coach, you make him a good
Marcus
coach.
Alonso. Like what Tuchel
Exactly
has done with
right.
Marcus Alonso.
I think we're on the
Arsene
same
Wenger
page.
did
We
with
know what's
Lauren.
happening. We know what we
Same
need.
sort of thing. Make him into a right back and a decent one.
And
we
I've
haven't been able to do
heard
it.
from his representatives, because I remember this is over a year ago, that I was in a conversation with them and they were asking me, Robbie, what do you think of Ainsley? This was at the time when he was being linked with a move away. And I said, you know what? I really like Ainsley as a footballer. I really think he's a quality player. However, you want me to be honest, I don't like this thing where he's talking about he doesn't want to play as a right back. I go, you're at Arsenal, man. You tell you you're playing goal, isn't it? And they said to me, they go, Robbie, see, this is the myth that has been spun.
Yeah.
He had never refused to play at right back. He was simply asked the question,
What
what's
is
your
your
favourite
favourite
position?
position?
Where would you like to? He said, my preferred position, I'd like to play in midfield, but I would no problem playing at right back. Right? So I was like, I was surprised at the time. I was like, I didn't realise that. They said, yeah. And they go, this things that's always out there about he doesn't want to play as a right back. He's happy to play at right back. And like you said, he'd gotten into the England squad playing as a fullback. And, you can understand his frustration. I'm not too sure if he should have went about... Well, actually, going about it the way he has got a response.
Yeah,
he's got a meeting with the manager. He's part of the plans.
Yeah.
Let's see if he gets any game time. But now that we bought a right back in,
He just gets
where's he going to play? Let me just do a couple of super chats. I'm going to come back to you.
Must be going crazy.
He's going crazy in here. He's going... UG says, imagine signing Tokiyasu was a boost following the club in Japan because of a loss of interest in the fans here in England and such. Right, AS says, Robbie...
Bad shout, that.
Yeah, that's a conspiracy.
Kava has said on Sky Sports, he had a response from an agent that Tomiyasu was offered to nearly every Premier League club and he's not a right back or a CDM, so it's worrying.
So what is he then?
What is he then?
What is he?
What position is he
But
then?
Is he a baseball player then?
he is a centre-back. He's a hybrid centre-back who can also play right-back.
Don't like this
But then
hybrid centre-back. Callum Chambers was
we were actually told that about Ben White as well.
I've seen some clips.
Chambers.
I've seen
John
some clips today, and he's been playing right back.
He can play right
decent.
back, yeah,
He looked
yeah.
but
he can.
if you put some clips
And-
up with me
and
and
as
you,
I
Robbie,
said-
we'd look decent. wouldn't we?
As I said, when I spoke to when I spoke to Fabrizio Romano, he was bigging him up and saying that he was a top player. John says we've got 4 CMs. 2 of them will be gone for a month in January. So imagine one of Xhaka or Lokonga gets injured around them. We'd have 1 CM. He said, I'm worried.
Maitland-Niles have to come into the mix, I suppose.
Yep, maybe that's why they kept him.
When is that? African nations.
January.
January.
So we
Yeah.
could actually sign someone in January before that happens.
Owen says Ramsdale is an exciting player. Will
Not the
save us a
start,
lot. Ultimate Warrior says any change expected with the new signings. All seems like putting Band-Aid on a broken leg. I see no
Great
one
point.
that's going to make an immediate impact.
Yeah.
GOF says when Xhaka extended his contract, I got messages from Spurs and Chelsea fans. They were so happy. Everyone knows Xhaka is holding us back. Purang says the problem with Arsenal is that we have a knack of going to Harrods only to win the shop and then get offered Tesco's. But instead of accepting Tesco's, we end up with Poundland whilst paying Harrods prices. Luke says, imagine if Wenger had been given £150 million. Same Jay says, we spoke about raiding the bottom half clubs for their best players. Why not get Ings, Cantwell, Basuma, Vestergaard, Adama Traore, Nick Pope? Arsenal First says the club has been turning fans against players for years. Nicholas Una says we've bought the Japanese Callum Chambers. Respectful 2 says AC Milan spent 68 million pounds on 11 players. Arsenal spent 50 million pound on 1 player. Is this club being mismanaged? Arsenal need to overhaul their scouting, technical directors and manager. Well, I heard some fans saying, why don't we get a Lukaku? So you can, I'm sorry, you buy, it's what you buy is the price you have to pay. Yeah. David Dean E says West Ham doing shrewd business. If care isn't taken, West Ham will overtake Arsenal. What is this? Frustrated? I can't even concentrate, he says. Annie Honey Boss says, hello from Australia. All I have to say is 150 million wasted. Going to be a reply of last season. Kroenke, Vinay, Edu, all need to be out, and Arteta out, he says as well. Care Luke says, would you prefer Basuma or Calvin Phillips? Surely you should be chasing him. He wasn't for sale. Mohammed Khan says Fabrizio Romano said no more signings for Arsenal. Box of Orange 84 says, can we quit this nonsense that Asian players are only good to be selling T-shirts? And who signs a centre-back to sell T-shirts only? Anyway, lazy, ignorant thinking. Of course, listen, Son's one of the best players
right now
in the Premier League, in Europe. So that makes a nonsense of that. But yeah, lots of comments coming in there. Loving all these comments, by the way. Loving how you guys, over 13,000 people in this chat right now.
Yeah.
So respect for that. And guys, what about the players that go? What about Bellerin? Sad to see him go. He's been at the club. Been at the club for a long time.
Do you know what you
Real
said?
Betis.
You said it earlier, and I couldn't agree more when you just said it. Sometimes you come to your career, you stagnate, and you need that change. I think it's good for him, and it's good for us. He might have a good season there, he might come back next season. Who knows? But for me, I think that's the proper one. Like, I think that's a good thing for him. Like, it's a shame that 3 or 4 more haven't gone out with him. Like, you know what I mean? But for me, I'm pleased for him. I've got nothing against Bellerin. I know people have a go at him and whatever, like, and I think the way he conducts himself sometimes, he puts himself up
for a
for
scapegoat, basically.
for the criticism, all that. Yeah. But I've never had a bad word to say about him, really, like, and I wish him well on a new adventure.
Yeah, no, I think the outgoings are what made the window for me a good window, Rob. I'm going to be honest. Bellerin, Willian. I actually think the business with Joe Willock, 25 minutes Newcastle, that was good business.
I'll tell you the players that have got out. So from what going through the list, Renaissance supposed to be going out to a club in what was it called again?
Belgian club, wasn't it? Leuven or something?
Yeah, I've forgotten the name.
Don't get rid of him.
Renaissance going out
on loan or sold.
On loan, it sounds.
He'll be back next week.
So Renaissance going out, and then we've got the other people that are going out. Where's my list gone?
Nelson's gone, hasn't he?
Nelson's gone out. Torreira's gone out.
Yep.
Guendouzi's gone out. Saliba's gone out.
You don't need a computer.
I don't need a computer.
Yeah, Willock's obviously.
A lot of players have gone out.
Willock obviously has gone on.
Yeah.
couple of youngsters have gone out on loan as well, and they got
Aziz
experience.
has gone. Obviously, he's gone to Portsmouth.
That made any money though, have we? We made 25 million from Joe Willock, and the rest of them's just been
All loans.
loans or bits and pieces. So
Has the Kroenkes put their hand in their pocket? I'm still confused. I know. Have
I mean, they put 150 million quid.
But obviously, I know.
Do you mean if no. There's one. Let's just say this. Let's just say this, and I said this earlier to Turkish. There's no denying this one now. No matter how much you dislike the Kroenkes, they have spent 150 million quid.
Of their own money. That's what we don't know yet.
They've spent 150 million quid.
Yeah. Is it our money? Is it the loan money that they took out?
Do you know the money that Man United have spent? Do you know the money that other clubs? You don't know the money, but all I know is they've outlaid that money. They've given the manager. Everybody be like. At the start of the window, everybody was going, back him!
No, I'm not saying
they've backed him.
I just want to know if it's their money that they've spent.
Have they backed him?
Yeah, they backed him.
Have they backed him?
Have they backed him?
Yeah, I agree, but no one's saying we don't know.
He
if
spent the
that's
most money. We spent the
No,
most.
he's been backed. He's been backed, but
we don't know if that's Abramovich's money or not. No one knows. You know what I mean? Like Man United is no. Why is it ever got to be questioned? We have spent the most money in this transfer window. That is whether it's his money or it's the club's money. It's done. You know what I mean? They've been back now. It all comes down to me now, to Mr. Arteta. He's obviously sanctioned these moves. So you've got your player. I don't want to ever hear from anybody now saying, "Oh, he ain't got his own players and all that."
I look on it like Lee. Listen, right? Don't get me wrong. The Kroenkes are terrible for this club. Right,
yeah. And I would prefer new owners.
They've come with this too late, as far as I'm concerned. But there is no denying. There is no denying
I don't think we're not saying
that in this transfer window, they have backed him. I don't want people saying whose money. They've backed him. Listen, find out at a later date, but they have given him the money. They have said, here is the funds for your rebuild. And he's spent £150 million.
Yeah.
And he's going to live or die by that.
And the reason I agree with that is because Unai Emery wanted Zaha, they gave him Pepe. Unai Emery wanted Upamecano, they gave him David Luiz. So they haven't backed Emery, did they? But they have backed Arteta because he said, I want Thomas Partey, there you go. I want Gabriel, there you go. I want, who do you want to partner, Gabriel? Ben White, there you go. I mean, so they get I want Odegaard, there you go.
And then even other decisions where, remember, he's got that money. He could have went and got Basuma, but he's like, no, actually, I'd rather keep Granit Xhaka.
I want Lokonga.
Do you think that's his decision? Of course it's his decision.
Yeah, that one is. That is definitely Arteta's decision.
That is Mikel Arteta's decision, and Edu, they're the two. Remember this, right? This is what I want you to remember as well. Mikel Arteta was, when he first came in at Arsenal, he was head coach.
Yep.
Head coach means your job is coach the players. The signings are done by Edu and that, and they give you the Raul, Edu. They made the signings. Here, work with that. They, after the FA Cup, they promoted him to manager, gave him a bigger role. You and Edu now make the signings. You decide on the direction. You decide on the players you're signing. It's all down to him now.
Yeah, it is, 100%.
It's all down to him. Those players. Kolasinac still being at the club is because he wants him to.
Yeah.
Mohamed El Neni still being at the club is because he wants him to. These are his decisions.
Do you think it's only right to judge him?
I don't think now, when I'm looking at Arsenal the next few games, I'm looking at him. I'm sorry, I'm not really. The Kroenkes have been 100%. A long-term problem. That's here, and we know all about them, and we know that if we had ambitious managers, if we had ambitious owners, I don't even think Mikel Arteta would even be in charge.
No, of course he would not.
Right? But now that he is here, and now that they've backed him, I have to look at him, and I have to say, right, number one, how well are your signings going to do? And what are you going to do with the players you've decided to keep? Because these are your decisions.
Yeah.
You feel that they're good enough to stay here. So I want to see performances from all of them.
So you're not going to say Arteta out at all until the players are fit.
No, I'm saying that.
You're going to wait.
No. I'm saying that everything from now, whether they're fit or not, it's your decision, because you have decided on it. You've decided how to spend that 150 million. You've decided whether to buy 6 players or to buy 1 player. The money was there.
Yeah. Let's look at West Ham squad, Everton squad, Villa squad, and Leeds squad. Have they got better players than us first 11? I don't think they have.
No, they haven't.
So that means we should be finishing above them on paper. And if this manager can't do that, he needs to get out. because I'll tell you a manager that could do it, or quite a few that could do it. Trust me, because they've had experience with stuff like that in the past. So I don't want to hear none of this. Oh, you know, we need more time. He needs more transfer windows. He needs more players.
I
never want to hear that
again.
I tell you, it's unbelievable.
Let me do a few more. Let me do some more super chats because they're coming in thick and fast. Box of Oranges says, "Can we?" Oh no, I already did that one.
Gave Xhaka a pay rise.
Esther Colomo says, "Would you have rather spent 150 million pounds on one player?" No, because we needed.
We need the positions.
Yeah, right.
50 million on 3 players we needed, I think.
Scruff says, "How Chambers is preferred to Ainsley Maitland-Niles." Jesus.
Yeah.
Chambers is terrible. Look at the 4th City goal, reminding me of Mustafi. Chambers is the English Mustafi, he says. Ryan Petit says, "Come on, Robbie. Let's have a shout out for Lee Judge's TV. Love both of your channels. Leicester fan here."
Oh, thank you very much.
Sorry, we're not doing that.
Thanks, Mum.
See the TV. He said slated me earlier.
No,
you know what I mean?
no,
Good. Second man's got the big guest coming in, Kevin Campbell and all that.
Yeah.
You're not messing about, are you?
No, not messing around, like, you know. Got,
Charlie Nick?
I'll tell you what. That was on the lounge. That was like. But you know, I had Abby and you nicked her.
You didn't have it.
I had a contract with her, like, you know what I mean? You just
You're doing better signings than the bloody club.
I know, look at his signings. We're going to have to find.
He just swatted me, like,
We're going to have to hire you.
Just said, like,
Silver Taco says, "I'm submitting a formal bid of £100,000 to buy AFTV on deadline day." He says,
would you sell?
Yeah, would you sell?
I want a bit more than that. Hey, Honey Boss says...
Get your Lee Judge's TV, that will,
We'll accept for that.
We'll accept that.
Andy Honey Boss says, stop saying £150 million spent. It's 150 million wasted. Only time will tell. I don't think it's wasted.
I don't think it's wasted. I think that's the point. I don't think it's wasted.
I mean, even these things like, listen, I would have loved Basuma, and really, as I said, a lot of that's as well because of the experience that he has as playing in the Premier League. I don't know if Sambi Lokonga might not turn out to be better. I don't know. Only time will tell.
Listen,
only time will tell. Did those people that are crying for Basuma? Did you know who Basuma was before he came in?
No.
Did you know who indeed he was before he went to Leicester? We don't know.
No.
What I've seen, the little bits I've seen of Sambi
It reminds me
Lokonga,
he has impressed me, and this is a big statement, I know. He has impressed me in a couple of games that I've seen him, in the way Patrick Vieira did when he first came to Arsenal.
Yeah, big statement.
It's a big statement. I didn't know Patrick Vieira from Adam when he came in that first game against Sheffield Wednesday. When I see him, it blew my mind. I said, this is a player that's going to be... I never thought Patrick was going to ever be as good as what he was, if I'll be honest. But Lokonga has come in 2 games, right? And I thought, my God, he's decent. But unlike Arsene Wenger, he kept playing Vieira. You know what I mean? Like, Lokonga's gone and dropped him.
I couldn't believe that.
That was shocking.
These are the decisions.
He's going to fall on the sword.
It's not going to be long. It's not going to be long.
Pay rise with Xhaka, extension.
I'll tell you what. For me now, Mikel Arteta, right? I don't care what anybody says. You know, they're not going to sack it. I'm going to be honest. Decisions like that Lokonga one just on this weekend, like playing the back 3 that he played against. I have lost trust in Mikel Arteta, so I'm gone.
I had a long time ago, mate. A long time ago.
He needs to win. And I'll tell you what, Robbie, I reckon 80% of the fans now are not happy with him, right? Yeah. So he's got to win his next 3 games. Whatever happens, he's got to. If he doesn't win his next 3 games, which is tough games, I don't care what anybody says. Norwich at home, Burnley away, Tottenham at home.
Norwich at home's a tough game.
I think. Do you know what?
Shouldn't be a tough game,
but it will be because you know why? It's because where we are in the league is going to be a bit of pressure on us.
It will be a tough game.
Norwich are looking down on us. I'll tell you that.
It will be pressure because of what's gone on there. Like we've put a lot of pressure on ourselves by where we are. So all those 3 games, he has got to win all 3 games. Hopefully, all our players back. If he cannot win those 3 games, right? For me. What that tells me, forget about the other games, you ain't going to win 20, 30 games in a season. You're done, mate.
Yep, 100%. I'm going to do a few more super chats, and then we've got a transfer going on here today, because I'm going to be transferring out, and Turkish is going to be...
Where are you going?
Where are you going on loan? Where are you going on loan?
We're going on loan.
Yeah, don't worry about where I'm going, right? But it's going to be like a free transfer.
Where are you going, upstairs?
You know what I mean? Right.
Upstairs.
The price of what I cost, you could get 10 Turkishes for. I'm only joking.
Well, no, I don't think you are, because I'll tell you, there's been a few slight digs today. You know what I mean?
Hey, he's hand over the camera and everything. All right, Rogue Game says, I don't see Arsenal performing. Problem is Arteta focuses on defence more than attack, and it's hurting us. You need a good manager with tactics. Chettle says, can you guys name one forgotten Arsenal player that was underrated and shouldn't have been sold? Like Alex Song and Carlos Vela. He said I could name a lot. Mahesh, oh gosh, it's
Serge Gnabry.
Mahesh, Serge Gnabry, oh gosh. He says, I'm happy that Arteta has been backed and now he doesn't have any excuses. Now no one can stop Arteta from getting sacked in October. I'm sure Arteta now knows he took up a job too big for him. This team will struggle against any team. Then we've got Ayum. No, I didn't pronounce that. Probably apologies. Ayufu. How do you pronounce that? Aya.
What one? Hey, you're asking me, I can't even say Smith.
Ayafuka. Okay. Apologies if I butchered your name.
Mad.
Apologies if I butchered your name, but he says US fans love wasting our time and energy scrutinising players. He says us fans love wasting our time and energy scrutinising players. Sometimes I look at teams like West Ham and I think, if Moyes can do that with that squad, right, either make players better or bring in better ones. Why can't Arteta
Because
do
he's
that?
got experience. David Moyes is an experienced manager, a coach. That is the difference between him and Arteta.
Yeah, Stephen Lee bigging up Tottenham's players that have been incoming. Purak says the last time Norwich were in the league, we only got 1 point off of them in 2 games. Kia says, how can all the players... True, isn't it?
That's
And
How
Burnley
can
as well.
all
you
these
know.
players leave Arsenal and instantly become better players? Guendouzi, Saliba, Martinez, Mkhitaryan, Willock. They all become such better players. Is that bad training from the Arsenal coaching staff?
They've been freed.
That's what they
Shackles
joke
off.
about.
That's what it
They
feels like.
joke about that. They say that like.
Well, they do say that, don't they? Look
Wayne
at
Sage
social
says this
media.
argument over being excited over Maddison. Maddison isn't much better than Odegaard. Over 40 matches, Odegaard has created more chances and scored one less goal and 1 less assist.
Well, I like Odegaard.
I like Odegaard. I like Odegaard.
I'm a big fan.
I think he's good
Odegaard.
as well.
I think Odegaard's
A lot
alright.
cheaper than
Yeah.
Madison as well.
Anyway, we're going to do that transfer right now. I know I dissed him, but I shouldn't have dissed him because he's been brilliant all day.
He's
We're
gonna
going to
promote
bring
his
in.
show, watch.
We're going to
He's
bring in.
gonna promote
Where are you going now then? That's what you haven't answered.
He's
Where
gonna
you going?
find out.
I do have to go onto the Don Robbie channel to do a transfer show on there, but not straight away. So I'll be here
And
watching.
who's on the Don Robbie show?
I'll be here
Can
watching you guys.
Tell us who's
Well,
on
you're
the
asking
Don
something
Robbie
Because he
bloody
thinks you've stolen. You've stolen.
In,
some of it.
in that time that you said that, about another 10 super chats are coming.
Are they going through like that for real?
Yeah, it's absolutely.
Yeah, big up everyone in the chat. Big up everyone.
I'm gonna
Oh, look at
let me
all that
set
lot.
it. Let me set it so you can jump in.
Yeah.
Oh bloody hell! There's so
Yeah,
many.
You're right,
There's
you're
so
right,
many.
You're right.
All right, I'm gonna set it here.
Slide over here and then Turkish will come and take it.
Right.
Big up everyone in
So
the
listen,
chat as well.
yeah, I'll be back a little bit later on. Let me just. I'm not going to ask Turkish because I know he's going to do this later on his channel. But I'm going to ask you guys. A lot of people saying the window is going to close. Well, not that it's going to close yet for Arsenal, but that's it. We've done probably most of our business for the day, bar a shock. What do you rate the transfer window out of 10? Dan Potts.
I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 for the pure fact that I think that there's much more room for improvement in terms of a 9 or a 10 with something that excites me. I think we've covered the positions we need to, but I'm not excited by it. So I'll give it between a 7 and 8 out of 10.
Cecil?
I'll say 7, 8. I didn't think he was going to go for 8.
No.
But I'm going for 7 because of the outgoings that have left the club. I know it's only on loan, but
Agreed.
we need to get rid of a lot of dead wood. They're out of the club now. That's not an excuse. Arteta has a lot of players coming in that he has to work off, and the reason why I'm giving it a 7, I'm quite disappointed in, like we spoke about Saliba. I don't understand that. I don't know why he done that. Xhaka getting a new contract, a pay rise. I still don't understand all of that. So that's the reason why I'm giving it a 7. Lee?
6. I think what we needed to, for me, looking at the games last season, we needed to upgrade our midfield, and we've not done it. And for that reason, a 6.
I gave it a 6 earlier, and I got absolutely slated by the next guy who's coming in. So I can tell you, he weren't rating it as high as that. But we're going to bring Turkish in. I'm going to go off scene as you continue with those chats, and I'll be back a little later on.
Where are you going anyway?
You know where he's going.
Make sure you turn off your mic. Yeah. But I hear you. Right, so we've got some super chats, people. I'm just going to go through a few of these because there's 1,000,001. Pierre-Emerick says that, we saw the last time we played Norwich, obviously, in the league. We only got 1 point in 2 games. You spoke about Burnley as well. We only got 1 point out of them in 2 games as well. Kier Luke, I don't know if you've read this one. Kier Luke says, how can all these players leave Arsenal? Yeah, we've read that one. It's low. Wayne Sage, this argument with Madison done that. Not a fan of the centre-backs that can play as right-backs. So Arnab says, not a fan of centre-backs that can play as right-backs, already seeing how it goes with Mustafi and Chambers.
Yeah, agree with it.
It's the new hybrid.
We wanted a right-back, not a centre-back. We wanted someone
I have to see what this guy's like. I don't know enough about this guy.
I don't know nothing about him. I don't
we needed to be
that?
more excited by it.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
Hello,
Yeah,
you all
Turkish.
right?
Yeah.
So, I'm taking over now, by the way.
I was going to talk to you about that after Robbie's words. I think a hostile takeover.
Yeah,
of
hostile
AFTV is
takeover,
needed,
yeah,
we might need to talk about that.
You're always welcome to come to Lee Judge's TV.
My price has gone up. My price has gone up.
Transfer deadline day. It's transfer deadline.
Certainly wouldn't dish you like that live on air.
I'm sure you wouldn't. That's what I'm saying. New contract. You need to come in like Roman. Can't be coming in like Stan.
We've gone 6, 7, 8, so obviously you're not going to be a 9 out of 10. So what you actually, what is your number?
My number's 4.
4?
Just below average.
Wow.
Reason being that, look,
Yeah,
on one hand, Ben White is 50 mil as a young English centre-back, and there's some hope there. In the next few years, he might be something special. But in the back of my mind, there's William Saliba. And I wonder what could have been if we actually kept him and maybe used that money elsewhere.
Does that count to 4? Does that get you down to 4 though?
That's just one example.
Right,
Another example is 8 players have left the club. We've received a fee for 1.
Yeah, Joe with it.
A few more sales of I think you mentioned it, Dan. There's a few players, Chambers, Eddie Nketiah, Lacazette, and maybe 1 or 2 more that's got 11
I think
months.
I would have took money for him.
Yeah, he just signed a new contract. But let's say the players going into their last 10 months now. You could have got 10 mil each for them. Maybe and then 5 mil or just let him go. But
I think the reason I've gone for higher is because I think a Basuma signing would have put it up to a 9.
Then.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you start with 8.
No, you did say 8.
That's
That's what I'm
mate.
saying. That's what I'm saying. But I'm thinking if we would have just got that Basuma signing, I think it would have been like a 9 out of 10 signing already, 9 out of 10 window.
But we didn't.
I think
we didn't. And
I know.
The window
But I
was
still
a-
think.
you
No, what
went
I'm
eight.
saying is,
The window
I
was a
don't
star
think.
signing away from being more complete. For sure.
That's what I'm getting at.
I'm very surprised you
I
went.
still think I've gone for 8 out of 10. And I think that is high, to be fair.
You've
But
gone 8 out of 10. Really,
I'm not excited
Have you
by
been
it.
down the pub this afternoon?
Yeah, that's it.
So, you're not happy with the sorry to cut you there, Dan.
No, go on,
the
bro.
outgoings as well. Is that not boost up to?
Oh.
I know it's a loan, but bro, that's a lot of players that we've been.
Bellerin will be back next year. We'll face the same
Yeah,
trouble
that's
again.
the problem. They're not loans,
Like
aren't they?
Kolasinac went out on loan in January, and a few people celebrated it. We're starting the next season with Kolasinac because a loan doesn't, end the
That's a
affiliation.
very
Well,
good.
Willock
That
changed
is a good
he
point.
changed his story. Willock went on loan and
He did, but Maitland-Niles went on loan. He came back. He hasn't been
fair
let go. He exposes the club on Instagram. He has a meeting on deadline day with the manager. It's all a mess.
You are right.
It's all a
I'm
mess.
thinking maybe I've gone high, to be fair. But I think we've.
I'm surprised that.
Yeah. I did go high because I thought we've covered positions, though. Do you know what I mean? We've covered positions I felt we've needed. I think we're that one excited signing away from being wow.
He'll be our
We've done all
Invite,
right.
I know it.
Yeah, he might be,
Trust me, I ain't going to be that. It don't matter who we sign. This manager is not going to take us forward.
Even on the flip
I don't
side,
care.
Lukonga's a good signing. I like him.
Yeah, I
but
like
see
Lukonga, I like
him.
Tavares. So
In the back of my mind, I think Guendouzi was what I thought Lukonga was 2 years ago.
Breaking
Like,
news,
young.
Harry Kane confident his reputation has not been tarnished by the link with Manchester City move this summer. I believe that it has, Mr. Kane.
Yeah.
he's going to have to come out and say something, though, isn't he? So.
Do you think he possibly could go in January? Does anyone think that?
Yeah, of course he
'Cause
could.
I feel like.
Listen, he's he can say what he likes. He asked to leave the football club.
Yeah.
At the end of, you know what I mean? For whatever reason, he's staying there. So basically, he's staying against his will. He's now got to come out and say all the right things, which is true. Look, we had this with we've had it with players. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to happen now. So.
And I think it's worse. I know it looks strong to everyone else, and it is strong of the club to keep a player having gone through COVID, the lack of fans, a new stadium, and with standing 100 and whatever million bid, it does look strong. But I actually think, as an Arsenal fan, they would have been better off selling him. Because I feel like the money they could have rebuilt with would do them justice. But I'm glad they've
got a player that will say all the right things, but deep down he don't want to be there.
Exactly.
And they haven't got the money.
Yeah.
The gift that keeps on giving.
And he's going to go down in value too. He's 28, turning 29. I think
he's going to score goals from now, because that's what he does.
Yeah.
That's what annoys me the most about that one, I think.
But the goals ain't got them anything so far.
No, exactly.
And without the money to rebuild around, they're not going to.
You're right.
Yeah.
You know.
And other clubs got stronger. Oh, let me ask you this. So, do you think we'll go through all of you, with a fully fit side of the signings we've made, Arteta can change around this narrative that, that all the fans are against him? Is there any chance of a fully fit side and things switch around? Do you believe he can do it?
Yeah, 100%. I think that. Do you know why? Results. If he was to go on 10, 15 unbeaten runs, say if he wins 14 out of the next 15 games, of course, of course, you can turn it around. Football is about turning people's opinions. Yeah. But I tell you what won't help, if he goes and wins against Norwich, wins against Burnley, and loses against Spurs. That'll do nothing. Yeah. He's got to go on a big run, and then after 10, 15 games, he has got the right to turn round, because we will be in the top 4 or 5 by then. If he wins 4 to turn around and go, look, I've got my players back now. I've got my players. I've got my thing. This is what I'm doing, and I can go with that. And all of a sudden, you see Arsenal going to, say, for instance, beating Norwich, beating Burnley, beating Spurs, and then coming back. I don't know who we've got
Brighton,
after that.
Brighton,
and going to Brighton, winning 3-0. Then you're coming at home to Leicester? We've got Leicester. Going away to Leicester, beating them. I can't think of who our next home game is. Going on what I think Southampton.
Yeah, so it's a possible run, Lee, that you think he could really turn around his.
Of course you can. Yeah. Football.
Do you have faith he's going to do that, Lee?
He could. Do you know what?
I'll believes he's
good. I know Pep was being
two
kind
different
after interviews. He really believes he's a good
you have to say.
manager.
I remember, right? I remember fans at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Ferguson out. We want him out. So look how he left. Why did he? How did that happen? Because he won football games.
Yeah.
That's all you have to. All he has to do is win football games. If he wins 10 football games, I don't care. If he comes back at the end of it, we'll keep this here.
Yeah.
If he comes back and wins 15 games, he would have changed his mind.
Everyone would.
And so with Turkish, I guarantee it. Because we'll be going, oh, this is good if you're winning games 3-4-0, 5-0. No one knew of Arsene Wenger before he came into the football club. As soon as he started winning, I love the man. Yeah. Winning football games. At this moment in time, he is not winning football games. He's surely not entertaining us, and he's not doing himself any justice because of his team selections or whatever.
Right.
If you start, winning games of football, all of a sudden, he might have left out Lukonga. No one's going to say nothing, Cecil. No one's going to say nothing. But if you win that game 3-4-0, right? No one's going to say, well, he left out Lukonga. What's going on,
But that's the difference. You got to win games, but you've got to progress, show a style of football, which he's not doing either of, right? And he's actually got to try and put us to where we believe we should be, which on paper is 5th, 6th in the league in terms of what we've got on paper. And that's a massive ask, yes.
But winning games, what Lee's saying, especially if he's won cup finals and stuff with I'd say a weakened team. It must be in there for him to do it. It's possible it could change around, like you just said. Just got to win some games. Do you believe he can do that?
I don't have the faith in it because
that's a different question.
Exactly.
That is a different question because I don't believe he will at all. I really don't.
Slim.
I don't think he will. Norwich is an easy game, everyone's saying on paper, but they're playing better football than us at the moment, right? And they're getting tonked, but they're actually creating stuff as well. Look at Burnley. Last season we took a point off of Burnley. We don't go to Burnley now and think that's 3 points.
Yeah.
So and then we got the North London derby. So those 3 games for me, I mean, I want him gone anyway. But I think if he doesn't take the 9 points, then just get rid of this guy and let's move on quickly.
100%. He's put himself. So. I think he's got to get these 9 points. I don't think he'll be. That by the way, ain't going to win me round. But I'm fed up with false storms.
Yeah.
So we're under Arteta, people go, oh, it's only 3 games. I remember us playing really well against Wolves last season and losing, right? And everybody going, but we played well. We went and lost the next game, and we lost the next game. Then we go and win a couple of games, and then I'm sitting up there. I had I couldn't rip my hair out because I ain't got none. But like, you know what I mean, grinding my teeth, going mad when, in Champions Europa League games because we're nearly messing it up there. Like, do you know what I mean? There's, I want to, without saying, you want to see us. I want to enjoy football again. Like, you know what I mean?
That's the big thing.
You know what I mean? I don't know what you're going to get there. Like, you know what I mean?
That's the worst part of it. You can't enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's so messy. You can't enjoy this.
No.
Maybe you know that when we go to the games and whatnot. I haven't been yet this season, but you could enjoy being around friends. You can enjoy having a laugh, getting something to eat, having a drink pre-post game, during. But can you really, hand on heart, as an Arsenal fan, say you enjoy watching Arsenal football club play?
No,
I'm going to be honest.
so.
I enjoyed watching the West Brom game, the 6-0. But that's a complete.
Yeah, but that was probably more refreshing than it was enjoying.
Do you know what? Though? I'll tell you what's
that's
a good
point. But they were playing good
because it's nice to
football,
see
it was nice
goals,
to see
isn't
them.
it?
Yeah,
I just want to see goals. That was why it was nice. That was why it's so nice because we haven't seen that for so long. I felt,
But you know what? We used to beat first teams like that, by the way. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying now, if Arsenal, for instance, were come fifth last season, right? Yeah, and they've started off this season well, and we bought what we bought in the transfer window. I think there will be a lot of fans going, yeah.
and that's why I've rated it higher than I think now.
I believe what's going.
Horrendous.
I can see a plan. I can see this.
I agree.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, I don't think any of us in this room. I'm not sure about Cecil, but don't really trust what's going on. And you just think, do you know what? I don't trust what you're doing. I don't trust, and that's the worry for me.
That is a great point because actually, when you look at it, I mean, listen, I think 8 is pretty high, to be fair. But I look at it and I think Tavares is going to improve our squad, not the first team. Lokonga is going to improve our squad. Erdegaard is going to improve our first team because he was there before. Ben White, I think, is going to improve our first team because he's better than Holding and Chambers. So I think the window has been an okay window, but I wanted that excitement. I wanted that level lifted, and I think that maybe would have given it, from a 6 or a 7, maybe to an 8 or a 9 with a Basuma and a Calvert-Lewin, and we didn't get that. So that's why we're getting 6, 7, and 8s. We're not getting the 4 obviously Turkish because you're disappointed with it.
Because
I understand it.
With the players and whatnot. It's just that I think we're being hopeful again.
I
think we can't say for sure Ben White is going to be our defender for 7 years. I don't think we can say for sure. I agree with you. I like what I see so far, Tavares. But I can't say for sure. Kolasinac had a good first few games for us when he first came in. Yeah, and now look how it's ended. So I feel like
sensational in his first game.
Do you remember?
I remember that. I thought, my God, he's my new favourite player.
Bursting into the box. So you look
he
what
become
time's done to that.
Come rank, didn't he?
It feels a bit long-term in a sense of like players that it's going to be hard to attract players. Remember, there's no European football. We're bottom of the league. I said this at the beginning of this stream. If I was a player looking at Arsenal and they were interested, I wouldn't want to go near them right now. Inexperienced manager, we're bottom of the league, like I said. I wouldn't want to go there. So with the signings that we've made, young players might have a higher ceiling. Still needs, I would say, one big sign would have changed that trajectory. But I think 4 is quite a low score considering we got rid of players and we've made a lot. We spent the most this window.
There's it's so difficult because people I'm on Kroenke's next for it's been a long time and people attribute that to spending money. So for me to now sit here and say spending money is not the be all, people be like, oh, but you wanted it for spending money argument kind of died down around Mesut Ozil coming in, Sanchez coming in, and a few others. We've had 100 million transfer windows before. I think we spent 145 million 2 years ago in 2019. We ended up finishing 8th and then 8th. I think we spent over 100 mil when we signed Xhaka, when we signed Mustafi. I think Lucas Perez and another one came in. I think we spent over 100 mil. So we've had these 100 mil windows before.
Yeah, we have.
But it just hasn't led to anywhere. And I just feel like, yes, we need to spend money to fix what we've done, but also spending money in the wrong manner is worse than not spending money at all. I'd rather you clear the decks and get a manager in and a director of football in that 100% I can trust, you can trust, we can trust. Like maybe an Overmars, like maybe a Conte as manager. That's just 2 people out there, for example. Then maybe we can trust. I can't trust Arteta. Arteta actually came to this club as a player during a period that it was evident what Kroenke has done to this club already. In hindsight, we look back and we bought him off the back of an 8-2, smashing against United. We wasn't a great running club them times. So it's not like Arteta I can trust. Edu is someone that, listen, he was part of a great Arsenal side and he gave me some great moments. I actually liked Edu a lot as a football player. As a director of football, not so much. There's arrogance there. Tells us to be patient with Willian. He tells us if you don't rate him, you don't know football. I can't trust these guys. Because Willian, I knew it was a bad signing. And for me to know that as a fan,
Yeah.
the director of football...
And it's interesting because the reason you know that as a fan is because we've seen this before with Willians, you know? We saw it with the Yossi Benayoun's, Kim Kalstrom's, Mikel Silvestre's. Why are we going through it again? I'm wondering why this is not going to work.
Chelsea let Luiz go one summer, and they bring in Thiago Silva the next. Because David Luiz, as much as he's been part of title-winning sides, great sides, he's been at the top of the game, he was never the leader, the real leader. He was never that. But because he's done a bit, we brought him in to act like that.
But do you not think you're being a bit stubborn in the sense by saying if you trust Conte, but with Kroenke still being the owners of the football club, can you still trust Conte the same? Does that make sense?
Conte's proven already that he left Inter because he wasn't backed, or he wasn't going to be backed. He didn't accept Tottenham because obviously they didn't offer him what he wanted. So if he was to come here, he must be getting what he wanted. And I trust Conte.
Yeah, so you don't trust that he might become a
So
puppet
if
under
he
Kroenke?
signs for this club,
You think he's-
I might then say, Kroenke might be changing. 130 million spent doesn't tell me he's changed.
Oh, yeah, fair.
But Conte coming in would have made me question. Not know for sure, but question. Now, if you look at how much we spent, Lee, Dan, Cecil, if we went, when Conte left Inter and said to Conte, here's 150, 200 mil plus player sales to rebuild this side,
100%.
he probably would have accepted that because that's a lot of money. But we didn't. And that is the problem.
I've got to say this one thing about Willian, right? I wasn't too disappointed about the Willian sign. I thought, yeah, not a bad sign. Got him on a free transfer, could do some stuff for us. The one thing I did question about, and I did question at the time, is what was that going to do for Pepe? That was my thing on it. Like, was it gonna affect him in the team, which I think it did to a certain degree. But I wasn't really I didn't think he was ever going to be as bad as what he was. Did you?
Well, the first game he got 3 assists, and I thought, you know, maybe you'll be okay.
Do you know why?
I was never excited by it though.
Because Chelsea were offering him a contract. And
They offered him 2 years.
the only reason he signed for us is an extra year and the money. And I just think to myself, if you really cared about something you love,
You'd have
done 2 years with Chelsea. In the end, look how your 3-year contract turned out. 1 year later, you've had to cancel it.
Yeah.
Because it's so torrid. It's been such a bad
I must
year.
admit, if I was at Arsenal, for instance, and they said to me, look, we're giving you a 2-year contract. Look, you know, some Arsenal legends signed on a 1-year deal, didn't they? And they said, oh, but West Ham were offering you a 3-year deal. I would still go with a 2-year deal.
Lee, Perez, Dan, Cecil, Perez is a legend, right? Let's say when we let him go, it was towards the end of his career, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say Man United bought him at that. Would that have frightened you? It wouldn't have me.
That's a good question.
It's a good
question.
question. It's one to think about and ponder over,
How
I
old was
suppose.
Van Persie when he left Arsenal to go to
28,
United?
29.
Well, to me, I thought it's not that deep. It's coming towards the end, but he was hitting he went on and did loads. So so I still do worry about players.
I'm just talking about an over-the-hill player. I'm just trying to think.
That's a great analogy. That's a great comparison.
And I just think to myself, we've had his best years. He just wants a bit of money. Go and enjoy, mate.
Yeah, I think Willian's now my mindset's changed, and I think how you think. But I was like Lee when we first were Willian. On a free, I was like, it's not that bad of a signing.
And it shouldn't be up to Willian to come out and explain the year. Edu should come out and explain, because you was quick to come out in November and stick your chest out and say, if you don't rate Willian, you don't know football. Well, come and explain what happened, because we've wasted 200k a year on him. I mean, a week on him. And a year later, he's gone for nothing.
I remember watching Willian Christmas against Spurs. I think Spurs were flying at the time, and he scored 2 goals, I think, at Wembley. He was brilliant. I thought, and then I thought, oh, we're getting him, like, you know what I mean? But we never got that Willian, did we?
No.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know who we got.
Coming to the retirement home, didn't he?
But I thought to myself, oh, I like the look of what I was going to see and all that, like, you know. But, you know, I you know, like sometimes you can, you know, pull out a gem of a free transfer, and other times you can't, I suppose. But you know, there's a reason why he was going for free, wasn't there? Really, like, you know.
Chelsea would never let a good player.
Exactly.
That's
the worrying thing, isn't it?
That's probably that is a good point.
Yeah.
But in saying that, PSG have.
Let who?
We let him go to his last year. You know
Oh
what I mean?
yeah. Yeah.
So I don't, you know.
It's hard to gauge, guys. It's hard to gauge. If we look at Ozil, everyone was screaming for him to come back in the side. Come back inside. We need Ozil. Then he's obviously gone, and he's plummeted. He hasn't been playing well since he's left. But a lot of Arsenal fans are saying we need creativity. bring Ozil back. But
listen, no one wants to take the blame at the club. There's players to blame, there's managers to blame, there's directors of football to blame, there's CEOs to blame, and there's one owner to blame. Yeah. But they all don't want to take it. No one comes down and takes ownership of none of the mistakes of the past 10 years, let alone the last 2. Until that happens, I can't trust nothing this owner or this club tries to project to me. I can't.
Right, I'm just going to take some super chats here because they are flying in. Robbie was definitely right. Nwang says, hi Robbie, this was a while ago, love the show. Can you ask Cecil to get me on the Friday quiz? I've been trying them for months. My Instagram is, okay, well, Friday quiz, it's on the Instagram, nothing to do with this. Siam J says, we finished 8th 2 seasons in a row. We're bottom of the league with an inexperienced manager and players tweeting they want to be somewhere else. Trust this is an 8 out of 10 window, all things considered. Is that 8 out of 10 or is that muck on? Yeah, it is 8 out of 10. He's given an 8 out of 10. Siam J, regular. I don't know about 8 out of 10. You gave.
He ain't coming. He's doing that. He had time to think about it as well, Turkish, and he said 8. I'm not having it no more. He said 8, and that's it.
No, I did go over the top. At
least he knows. Dean Mensa says, Robbie, just a reminder, Callum Chambers has played for England.
Yeah.
Oh, regardless he is average, the whole squad.
He did before. He was when he first came to Arsenal.
Yeah, someone told me that he played. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was brilliant when he first came into Arsenal. And I'll tell you when it was. It was in the World Cup, and then Masaka was in the just finished the World Cup, and he was playing really well. And then as soon as Masaka was fit, they brought him back in, and I think that killed Callum Chambers. But he started off like a trainer for Arsenal, but he just not progressed.
I was going to quickly ask you, see Renato Sanchez, we'll kind of link to him. I think this will be the rest of the incomings here at Arsenal today in this transfer window. But Renato Sanchez, you guys' thoughts on him? Would you have liked to see him? There's a war he was linked with. Would you have liked to have seen Renato Sanchez? I don't know if you know much about him. I remember him from the Euro 2016. That Euro campaign, he was class.
He was class. Yeah, he was class.
I would be
there.
happy to see him in.
I wanted to see a while.
He go to Swansea, didn't he? And he didn't really do much there.
That's the only thing.
Is that right? Yeah, he did, didn't he?
It just didn't look good enough for me. I'd like to have seen Husam Awar because I think that Awar would have been
that's a great
something
shout.
would have given us.
That now.
Yeah, would have given us something different. But you know, listen, I honestly think we're 1 or 2 wicked signings off of it being a good window because of the positions that we covered. But no, it would have been an 8 out. There you go. That's the way to say it. It would have been an 8 out of 10 if we would have got them.
So did we miss the trick getting Awar? Because I think what was Awar rumoured before, like 20 million?
Well, I would have liked to. I've said it earlier on in that because it would have just made me feel confident in our recruitment team. I've got no confidence in them now. Like I ain't got none in our manager because you chase a player for a year. And then you've got no interest in him. So what did you do? Why did you chase him for a year? And that just gives me doubts about this team. Just to me, that's like Lokonga playing really well for the first 2 games and then leaving him out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You lose trust in the manager, and I'm losing trust. I've lost trust. I just think it's a bad.
I don't see it last.
I love it.
I
loved it. I really did. I thought he was underrated at Arsenal, and I loved the way he played football. He was a player that worked his socks off. He got stuck in. He created. He scored goals. I think he was very, very underrated at Arsenal. Loved him as a player. I want him out of my football club now because he's just not good enough for what he does now. And that's bad for me to say it. But that's how I feel.
Dan said I don't see it lasting long, and I agreed. And I thought to myself, but how has he lasted this long?
Oh no, that's my worry, mate. That is my worry.
What is the what is the remit? What is the request? What is the goal? Let us know maybe too, so we can kind of understand what the hell's going on.
Because Villarreal for me was I was done. It was done. I mean, listen, I was done a long time ago, but I thought that was the night we could get rid of him.
Yeah.
No, he stayed to the end of the season. Then we think, so are you going to get a new manager in for the new summer? No. He's staying for this transfer window. Now we've come to the end of the transfer window, 3 games in, he's lost every single one. He's still here, and they're giving him the last day today. So I don't think it matters really. That's why I'm not so disappointed by who we're getting in, because I really don't see this manager lasting. Yeah. So I think we can take it forward with somebody else. We'll start to see some of these players coming through, and you might think, do you know what, Ben White's a wicked centre half.
Yeah, we might look back at the
coming
window
and been
say,
brilliant next to Partey. With somebody else like Thomas Tuchel coming in, you might see someone come in and start to take this team forward now. And that's why I'm not as deflated, because I've given up on this process. I just don't see it happening with Arteta. I think it's a matter of when, not if, he's going to go.
And you make a good point there with looking back at this window, because I'm looking at the 2019 window here: Pepe, Saliba, Tierney, David Luiz, Martinelli. Ceballos, and if we had asked around then for a rating around the window, a lot of
Everybody
people
gave
would
a
have said
great one.
7s, 8s.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you look
That's
back
why
at
I
that
think I'm
window
looking
now,
more like that now.
and you're probably thinking, Tierney, yeah, Martinelli, yeah, the rest.
So there
yeah.
we go. So I think that's what it is, you know, because I was so down about it today, and I thought actually we have covered the positions we needed apart from defensive midfield and centre forward. But the centre forward we don't now need because Lacazette's staying. So I mean, I'd like to have seen an upgrade, but in their eyes we don't see it. So if Laka starts scoring again and Aubameyang starts scoring, we've got Bissouma that we're out of. Everything else has been covered. So it hasn't been a shambolic window, but we're deflated by it because we haven't seen that exciting signing.
Yeah.
So I think that 6 7s is probably about right. But the reason I've given it that is because I think a Bissouma would have given it to 8 or a 9. We would have been like, look, we've got Bissouma, we've covered the positions. You know, I think we're all right. But I don't have the faith the manager's going to take the team forward. So I don't think it matters. You know.
Listen, if without being horrible and all that, if Conte had come in and signed those players, maybe we would have been excited.
That's what I think it is, Lee.
maybe,
I know,
maybe.
and that's where it is. No,
Maybe.
you're right.
That's a fair
Do you know what I mean? Like,
But that's because you can trust him. You don't trust the one doing it right now.
Yeah,
and trust is a big
I think
thing.
it could be that could be why
That's
we're
not good,
thinking.
though. Yeah, that's not a good way to look at it, though, is it? As a fan,
But you know, that's the confusion because you've said 4, you've said 6, I've said 8, you're going, oh, okay, and I've started to come down to 6, now you're starting to think, oh, do you know what, maybe it's not so bad. We're all confused because we're so exhausted by this process. It's confusing us, I think, now because we don't know where we're going, do we? We don't know. We've got a manager who doesn't know what he's doing. We've got Edu, we've just said isn't good enough for what he's doing because they haven't together tried to improve the first team, because I stand by that. It still hasn't improved amazingly well. And we've got Cronkies that are allowing us to spend money, but they don't really care where it's spent. Because we've spent a lot of money, trust me, over the under Kroenke. But look at what we've wasted it on. 70 million on Xhaka and Mustafi. Do you know what I mean? We could have had Kante and Van Dijk that season. Then we look at the Pepe deal was 72 million just for him. Ben White and Ramsdale both cost 80 million. This is a lot of money we're spending.
no improvement.
But is there improvement? No. And, you know, that's why we need to look at the manager now and say, do you know what? This first 11 is actually not a bad first 11 now. So go do your thing. And I don't think
exactly,
he
and that's what he has. You know, like Martinelli, for instance, is not in the side at the moment. You know, he's a player that I rate very high. I know there's injuries and all that. He's got to make it. He's got to find a way of getting him in the team and making him a better player because he is a superstar in the making. But is he going to fall to the wayside? You know what I mean? Like this is the thing now. Like, you know, I haven't really seen him improve to when I first see him. I know he excited me when he first came in, but he hasn't.
I've been a manager for that.
Jumped up the next step.
He hasn't improved. I'm going to just take some super chats and then kind of slowly close this off because we're about to hit the 1 hour and 30 minute mark. I'm just going to do this one here. The almighty Prince Halo said, would you like Zidane at Arsenal as manager?
I take a lot of managers over Arteta, and I would take him as one because I think there's an improvement on Arteta.
He's an experienced manager.
Yeah,
And I think Zidane's shown as well that he respects his name and his reputation enough to demand upwards.
You want someone to come in and just not.
It has to be someone that demands upwards first before demanding downwards. Because
don't win 3 Champions Leagues with Real Madrid if you're no good. Just put it that way.
Kapil Lufa says Kroenke are making Arsenal into a feeder club. All this noise about youth is a sham. All these players will double their value and Arsenal will sell.
I will say something about Kroenke. I know I might get a clump from Turkish here, like, you know what I mean? This is their second year of being solely in charge, and they've spent money in this transfer window. Partey, Gabriel in the last one, and all that. Like, they have put their money. Well, I'll not say their money, but money has been spent. I don't care what anybody says. Whether it's been that isn't his fault that it's not been spent wisely. You know what I mean? But it is down to him.
He recruits them, though.
He recruits them. So he's part of the blame. I'm not saying, but ultimately, I'm not going to turn around and say, do you know what? You've not spent money this time around.
Do you put the blame, Lee, on the people recruiting, the Richard Garlicks, the Edu, the Vinay? Do you put it on them? That's the blame. Because if you think about it, Kroenke is just a businessman putting money into something. He doesn't really care what happens with the crowd.
That's the problem, though.
But I hear that. But then he's putting it into other people that's their job.
But when you don't care about the business, you're not going to care about the people you're hiring in those roles. And that's the problem. You can talk about the money and the players, but it comes from you not caring. It's not just about spending money. It's care about how you spend it.
And not really knowing.
First, he doesn't know, but secondly, he doesn't hire people who do know.
Yeah,
that's one.
He hires other people who don't know.
That's what I wanted. Yeah, that's what I'm with you as well.
I think that if you're what he should have done, in my opinion, And this is nothing against Arteta. When he first came in, they should have gone right. Because I think really Emery wasn't really solely in when he came. Emery he wasn't
his
solely.
role and
he was the head coach.
I think when so really it was Mikel Arteta was the first one when it and all right, he's impressed him in what he's done and all that. But for me, I'd have gone, yeah, he has impressed me, Mikel, but I want an experience. I want the best possible man that I can get at this stage. Now, for me, the best possible person we can get at this stage is Conte. He's out there.
Yeah.
As an owner, I would have liked him and said, you know what, Mikel, thank you very much, but it's not working. Be ruthless and go in and get the man that he's done. And you only have to look at Chelsea and look what they've done. They was in the same position as us, and look at them now.
Sure, they turned it around massively.
So, and it ain't just about spending money, because they spent less money than us this season. But as we said earlier on, he's got a tune out of 3 or 4 players that were not even in the side.
All right, listen, before we wrap up here, I know it's a long way off and we're not going to have too much of an idea of what's going to happen, but I want to ask you guys, January, the next window, what needs to happen in that window? I know there's loads of more games before that time, but we can talk about outgoings and potentially incomings off the back of what we've seen in this transfer window so far. What needs to happen in the January window? Let's start with you, Dan.
Well, I think we need to try and find some deals for Eddie and Lacquer, otherwise they're going for on a free. So the outgoings have got to be done wisely. In terms of incomings, I think we need to be looking in the midfield position, because obviously we're going to have African Cup of Nations losing a couple of players. So the midfield needs to be boosted. I don't know how we're going to do that, whether we can go back in for somebody like Bissouma or what. I don't know how realistic that will be. But that's the area that I feel we're weakest. So I'd like to see that addressed.
Okay. You both, who wants to start?
I couldn't agree more. I think that we need to bring in a midfield player, and maybe just tinker with the forwards a little bit, like bring in one if we're going to get it soon. One of the biggest worries for me is someone like Bellerin. I think is potentially a very, very good player. I don't see much game time for him, so I think that he should have probably gone out on loan. You know, when you're saying, look, this is the trouble. We're loaning out players to get rid of them.
Yeah.
But we also need to be loaning players to make them develop, And we really needed to do that with Bellerin, and we haven't.
We've only done it with Aziz, haven't we? That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only one.
Turkish, January window, not really.
I'm never a fan of January windows.
It's just January for us, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just taking down the declarations, going on
You get the
diets.
odd one in there, Reyes, rest in peace, Arshavin. You get the odd Aubameyang.
I think we bought Arshavin in February in the end, didn't we?
Yeah.
So that happens at Arsenal, actually.
In all honesty,
I don't know what's going on there, like.
Yeah.
Same owner, same shit.
So
Yeah.
Fair
We'll
play,
probably have
man.
a new manager November,
that's
December.
what
I agree.
Well, I think like, if things don't work out, we've got the October. Like, is there an international break in October?
Yeah.
October, November time.
If things have not improved, then that's when it'll happen.
Okay. All right then. Well, one super chat in the last little second before we wrapped up there. Gorky M says, to get someone in quick, I think we'll need a homegrown manager, which would you take? Gerrard, Lampard, Potter, or Parker? Hashtag Arteta out. Would you take any of them?
Potter.
Gerrard, I'll take Gerrard.
Would you?
Take Gerrard.
I would take Steven Gerrard. I think he's doing a fantastic job
Rangers.
at Rangers.
Yeah.
But I
take
think
Potter out
he's
then.
targeted for Liverpool. Really, I think he'll be Liverpool's next manager. But I would.
he will be.
Potter as well.
I'm just Conte or Simeone, that's me.
Yeah.
It's impossible, but that tells you what
The standard you
Oh,
want.
I'm with you. I think we're all with you there, bro.
Yeah, we need that, but whether they'll come. But anyway, listen, thank you everyone for watching this transfer deadline day special here at AFTV. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I guess that's it for the window. I mean, there's 2 hours and 49 minutes left. I doubt we'll be getting any more signings during that time. So to me, it's been a pretty
There's always
good
a
window.
big one comes out in the last couple of minutes. So just.
Do you think it'll come to what for Arsenal?
I don't know.
Sal's going Chelsea, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think he's gone now. I think he's
That
gone.
happened out of the blue.
Yeah,
Just come out of it just now. So there's always something.
Oh
always a
yeah,
chance.
Robbie's gone live now as well, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
He's gone live now, so if you want to head over
Head
there
over
and
to
see
Don-
what's
oh,
going
yeah,
on.
go head over to Don Robbie.
To Don Robbie, like.
Yeah, actually, before we go, big up Lee on Lee Judges TV. He's got his own channel, and Turkish as well. Turkish London. Make sure you go.
We're
subscribe.
rivals.
Yeah,
Yeah, we are, we are. We are.
Make sure you go check out their channels, guys. Before you leave as well, make sure you check out their channels. Thank you for watching this show on the deadline day, and we'll see you next time, probably in January, on this show for this show. Take care. Have a great week.